You're tuning in to the Black Hollywood Live Network, featuring news, interviews, and commentary on all things Black Hollywood. Hollywood redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Portraits, featuring intimate, in-depth interviews with Black Hollywood stars and influencers. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host for Black Hollywood Live, Portraits, Derrial, Christon.
Hey, what's up, everybody? You're watching Black Hollywood Live Portraits. I'm your
I know,
host.
why you trying to do this? We need a dance break.
I know, right? I need a little dance break right before we get started. I'm Derrial Christon, and here joining me is the dancing DJ Jessie J.
What's up?
Our very special guest today, you know her. She has been in this industry for a long time. I mean, she is breaking barriers in this industry. We have Miss Kyla Pratt with us today from Let's Stay Together on BET, a.k.a. Christon Whitmore.
What up?
How you doing?
I'm doing great.
You look beautiful in your red today.
Thank you. I was feeling reddish.
I was like, girl, you doing an Esquire magazine cover or something?
You know, I try to every day. That's how I like to dress. You know,
like
when
that.
I walk out the house.
I like that. You do it.
That
good.
is
I'm
such a
liking the
lie.
silky hair.
Thank
with
you.
the
It's real
dress.
silky. I got
You're
some
giving us
new
the real
product.
Naomi Campbell going on right now.
Yeah, I wanted to do a real long,
She's
like
like,
right
some
before
real
summer.
product.
I like that. I
You
like
know,
that.
because it's gonna be too hot in a minute to have
It's
all
gonna
this
be real
hair.
hot.
So we gonna change it up for the summer?
I gotta change it up for the summer.
You
This
already
is
have
too
an
much
idea?
hair. I have an idea. I see some women doing it already, so I'm gonna have to switch it up a little bit. But yeah, I'm not gonna have all this hair in the summer. It's not.
Now, we mentioned kind of at the top that you have been in this industry for a long time. Since you've
Yeah.
been you are one of the very few successful child actresses who go from being a child actor to an adult actor and have a huge career. What do you think is one of the key success things that have helped you stay in this game for such a long time?
I think for me, I was put in this industry so early, and a lot of children who do that, they tend to have some type of downfall.
Yeah.
My mom didn't put me in this industry and make me feel like I had to make money. I had to be the breadwinner. For all of us, it was a hobby. So it was always fun. It was never work. It was never like, you have to go do this. If I wanted to be at school with my friends, then I got to do that as well.
Yeah.
So I think I didn't have that pressure put on me. Plus my mom and my family were all really, really close. And so if I become crazy, they'll bring me right back down to where I need to be. So I'm good.
And were there any challenges that you felt like you experienced growing up by being kind of a child star and trying to balance that as like a regular kid, child star kid?
Not really. I feel like teenagers and young kids coming up, they have it hard, period.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I had a couple of issues, but nothing that would have been different. Like, you know, starting off at a high school where no one knew me, I walked in, everybody thought I was a B word because I wasn't talking to anybody. And
Yeah.
I'm like, but if I would have came in here acting like I knew y'all,
Then
y'all still wouldn't have liked
Right,
me.
right.
So it's the same thing though. Like hearing what all these kids have to go through nowadays, it's not, nothing that I went through was anything less than that. So
Well, what would you say kind of made you grow up quicker? Would you say it's the fact that you were put into the industry at such a young age, or the fact that you were the oldest of 5 children?
because I'm the oldest, that made me grow up really quickly. Just wanting to help my mom and wanting to be a good example for my siblings. And it's like my mom never talked to me about money, but I knew about it. I knew like, okay, Kyla, if you get this, if you get new shoes and this and that, then your brothers and sisters might not be able to get, you know, new this, new that. So then my focus was always, you know, helping take care of the family. And now I've always been second mom. So I think the whole being the oldest of 5 thing is what made me like grow up so fast.
Yeah.
And even now, like I watched movies like that Project X movie where kids
Yeah.
are
Oh, yeah,
like
that's good.
going crazy, and I was watching it like, did I miss out on something?
Right.
Because I was like the teenager that was like, oh no, like I don't think so, like I'm too special for that. Like
I love that though.
I was just like, I don't have time for all that. But then now I look back like, man, should I have been crazier? Should I have had more fun? And I'm like, nah, because I can't do it now. I'm a mom. You can't do crazy stuff like that, you know?
Well, listen, according to some of these Real Housewives shows, you can still do it at any age, apparently.
Yeah,
But not appropriately.
But not
She has a
appropriately,
career.
I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, some stuff you can do. I don't think, you know, you should shut off, you know,
Right.
being excited and having a lot of fun as a mom. But some things, it's like,
Lighting
all right.
people's backyards on fire, maybe not be.
No.
Yeah, maybe not a good look. Right. Maybe not a
No,
good
I
look.
mean, I wouldn't want one of my kids to do that to somebody. I would,
Yeah.
you know. I'm cool. No.
You're like, I'm good. I'm
No,
good.
you gotta take the higher road.
Yeah.
I mean, being in there with five kids, there's a certain type of mentality that you have to, that gets kind of put onto you. Was there ever a time as a young female in the industry, or just as a young female period, that you were kind of like, you know what, this isn't fair. I don't want this responsibility. I want to just be me. I want to, go out with my girls. I want to do this. Was there a time where it just kind of was like there was so much pressure on you that you kind of went through a time where you just had to take a step back and be like, let me get my ish together?
Not really. I feel like when I first got into high school, I was like, oh, I want to be with my friends all the time. And I remember we were having like family meetings, and my mom's like, feel free to say whatever you want to say and, speak your mind.
Did those
and I was
work
like,
back then?
I was like, oh, okay. Let me tell you about the first family meeting. that was the last
She
for
was like,
Kyla. But and I was like, you know what? I think I should be around my friends more. And I never next family meeting. Anything you like to say? Mm-mm.
It was like zip.
Nope, everything is perfect.
Wait, what was her response?
No, it was just she just went off. She as I would be like, what? You hang out with us, like your siblings are your friends type thing. But not really. I love my siblings, and I love. That's why I wanted to have more than one child, because I'm like I love our bond, and I want my babies to have the same thing. So.
And now you started off in the industry at a very young age. You started doing commercials around the age of 8, I believe I saw. How did you find out or discover your love for acting at the beginning of your career?
My mom is an actress, and growing up, I watched her do a lot of theater. And she still kept going, raising 3 kids by herself, doing theater. And
claps for that.
Yes, and our being babysat was coming to the set and being extras. And so when the opportunity came up for me to become an actress, I was like, cool, I want to be like my mom. Like, this would be fun. And I just fell in love with it. And ever since then, it's just like I wanted to be like mommy, and now I am. And now mommy's kids are almost all grown up, and she's ready to get back in there.
Oh, that's great.
So that'll be fun.
And then you started off with so many different shows like Barney and Friends, The Babysitter's Club, Living Single. What was your experience like being a young kid on those sets with such big celebrities at that time, and you were the young girl on the
To me, it was
set?
just fun. I didn't really look at, like, I did a movie with Eddie Murphy when I was
Right.
9 years old. I didn't really know like Eddie's star power at that time. I just knew him as the guy who's playing my dad on the set, who was really nice. And as being a child in this industry, I ran into a lot of actors who were really, really nice, and it was great. I didn't have to experience that at a young age, and if I did, my mom was right there to be like, hold up, like, not to my baby.
Right.
So no, I didn't realize until after the fact that I worked with such high quality actors. Like, I did a scene with Ozzie Davis in
that's
Dr. Doolittle. Like,
legendary.
I had no clue.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know. I was just like, oh, I get to go to work today and talk to this man about my animal. This is fun. Like, I didn't know who
You were like,
anybody was
right.
until later. So.
And you mentioned Eddie Murphy, and I know you've worked on several films with him. And what has it been your experience like working with him, in the sense of, did you learn a lot from him at the beginning of your career? Did he give you any advice that you took on to where you are today? Or
I just feel like, looking back right now, I realized that he showed me how to be a professional, but then how to have fun at the same time. Because in between scenes, he was playing with us. He was making jokes with us, and running around with us. But when it was time to work, it's like, all right, it's time to work now. We'll play in a little bit. And I look back at that like, okay, like, this is how I have to remember to be. Like, I never want to be on a set where it's like uncomfortable and no one's talking and no one's enjoying themselves. Like, this is what I love to do. Like, I understand that some roles you have to do that to get into character, but when it's supposed to be fun, then it's supposed to be fun. Like, let's enjoy ourselves. So that's the one thing I can remember working with him at such a young age.
And then, as I was mentioning, kind of like Queen Latifah, and then Eddie. Now we're talking about Eddie Murphy. They've basically seen you grow up. When you run into them now, do they trip out that you're, a mom of 2 kids, and just you've grown into this beautiful, successful woman, and they knew you when you were that young kid?
You still little Kyla.
Yeah. Are you still right? Are you still little Kyla?
Well, I haven't seen them in years, but to everybody else that I've known since I was younger, yes, they are floored, and they're like, "Wait, you got 2 kids?" Like. how old are you now? Or at first it was like, put some clothes on. I'm like, lady, I'm grown. It's not bad. Like, I just got a little skirt on. They look at me like they still, and even people who watch the shows, they really still think that I'm Brianna from 101.
I bet.
And I'm 14 and I'm like holding my baby. I'm like, no, I'm in my 20s. Like, the time has passed. So, I mean, that's fun. And I don't really feel like people at my age are always like, who are approaching 30, are always like, oh my God, I'm about to be 30. Me, I don't feel old until I'm like counting back how long ago I shot a movie like Love and Basketball I shot when I was like 11. So that's
crazy.
over
And
15
that's such a
years
classic
ago.
film, too.
Like, what?
I know, but it's like we grew up watching you,
yeah.
so it's kind of like that's
but-
where we feel.
And then
'cause
for me
watching
to
is
say
like,
I shot something 15 years ago, I'm like, wait,
That's
I'm not
crazy.
15? Like, that's all right.
That's good though. Young soul. that young soul will continue on for the rest of your
Yes.
life.
Yes, I always say my mama look good. I'm trying to follow in her footsteps. You know what I'm saying?
So for you, having kids in this industry, I'm gonna go on a scale and say it was not that difficult for you because you seem pretty level-headed, like you got everything kind of together and planned out. What was that like, balancing work, life, and now family?
I would say it was much easier before I became a mom. I didn't realize how much easier it was. You complain about stuff, and then when more stuff comes along, it's like, oh damn, why was I
Why was I
complaining
doing that? Right.
before? But I want to do it all. I've always wanted to be a mom, and I want to be an actress. So if I want to do it all, I can't really complain. I got to get it done. Even if that means no sleep. Like, I have an 8-month-old who's just like, I'll wake up whenever I feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say no, or I can't, and I want to be that hands-on mom where my babies know me and see me in the middle of the night picking them up. And, I want to do it all. So I'm going to be tired for maybe about 7 more years, but I'll be all right.
What would you say to girls out there? Because we here at Black Hollywood and our other company AfterBuzz, we're always talking about women in the industry having kids, and there kind of being this cloud over it that when you have kids, your career is done.
Yeah.
For you, what was your kind of mentality going forward with that? Because clearly you done it twice and
Right.
you still kicking it. So what would you have
Well, it's
to
crazy
say?
because I've actually had people in the business tell me like, don't do it, don't have a kid, because then everybody's gonna look at you differently and you're not gonna be able. I'm like, what? Like, if I want to have a baby, I'm gonna have a baby. First of all, this is all me right here. I'll figure it out. And my first baby was a beautiful surprise, and it was just like, hey, we got to do what we got to do. I've always wanted to be a mom, and I want to work, so.
Yeah.
I got to make it happen. I would never want to put being a mom on the back burner, because I know of so many women who wish they didn't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I just did an interview recently with Kim Whitley, and she kept saying that she just kept putting it off, like, oh, I'll do it next year. I'll wait until I get another show. And then she's like, okay, now I have a show, so I can't get pregnant because I'm working. And then when that show's over, I'm like, okay, I'll wait till I get another show. And so she said luckily she has a beautiful son now that she adopted, but she talked about that. Like, I'm glad she learned that. And so now she's sharing that with other young women. And I would never want to put being a mom on the back burner. That's something that I've always wanted to do. And my life wouldn't be what it is without it. I can't imagine.
And then as you were kind of working and growing up, you've also worked with some legendary actresses such as Monique, Alfre Woodard, Sanaa Lathan.
Mm-hmm.
In Hollywood, there's this misconception that Black people don't look out for each other in the industry. What's your thoughts on that? Like, you had the experience of working with a lot of these legendary actresses and people who could help you. Do you feel that Black people as a whole are starting to help each other out in the industry, or do we still have a long way to go?
I feel like we still have a long way to go. There's some people who do help, and there's some people that are all for selves. But I feel like that is also in every other race. Like, you have a couple of people that look out for you, and a couple of people that's like, look, I'm about me. And I try to just be positive, and if someone positive comes my way, then great. And that's why I love some of the young actresses out there right now, because now at this point we run into each other, and it's not a competition type thing like it was before when everybody was younger. And I had a good friend who booked a movie and was afraid to tell me because she knew I went out for it. And I found out from my reps who booked it, and then I just let her tell me at her own time. And I was like, congratulations, let's go have a drink. Like, I'd rather somebody that I love and care about and want to see win, get a job. And if it wasn't for me, then it wasn't meant for me. Something better is coming my way. So as long as you keep that attitude, and it's great to see a lot of young Black actresses out there right now who you feel like have that mentality. Yeah. And it makes you want them to win even more because they're not, selfish.
And we're living in an age right now where we have a Black president, obviously. We have a new Oscar award-winning actress, Lupita. TV projects seem to be more plentiful. We have Shonda Rhimes, who's writing and just producing great projects. Love Scandal. Everybody loves Scandal. Men, females, everybody.
Love Scandal.
Do you feel that there's more opportunities now for Black actresses since you've started in the business to where you're at now? Is there more opportunities?
I feel like there's more opportunities. There always could be more.
Yeah.
I feel like... I love this side of the camera. I love being on this side of the camera, but I'm also learning the other parts of being behind the camera. I love to write, so I'm looking into producing and beginning my own production company. And hopefully, when I feel that the parts aren't coming, I can create something for myself and my fellow actors and actresses. So that's the ultimate plan.
I like that.
But of course, staying in front of the camera is my everything. So, that's just like a little extra.
A little extra something.
A little extra something. You can't limit yourself. You can't say, I'm just going to do one thing. You got to try to do it all.
And you are doing it all because in 2001, you were on One-on-One and The Proud Family. How did you balance working on two shows at that time?
Oh, that was fun. I was young. It was like, hey, I got two jobs. Like I was, when I started shooting One-on-One and when I started The Proud Family, I was 14. Wow. And, The Proud Family to me wasn't really difficult because it was just like, oh, come in and talk. And I got a lot of, I can find energy from nowhere. Like, I can have 2 hours of sleep and for some reason, I'm just like, bam. But also learning from my acting coach, he's like, look, whatever takes they get, they will have that forever. And they might use that. Yeah. So I think that's what it is. But that was fun. I was 14 and I had my, first little freshman year in high school and I was being homeschooled and it was a lot of fun to go back and forth and to do that.
Can we just take a moment and talk about The Proud Family? Because growing up, that was my ish. And
I get recognized from The Proud Family more than anything.
Really?
Yes. I mean, from my voice.
From the voice.
But did you realize how big that was that show was on television? Here we have an African American family cartoon on, one of the biggest channels ever.
Yeah.
Did you realize at the time what that was?
I had no clue.
Really?
I had no clue. I was a little nervous because I know they replaced one of the girls who was on the show. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm doing enough. Is my voice okay? And at that point, I didn't realize how distinctive my voice was. And after it came on, I'll go to the grocery store right now, and I'm just a naturally loud person, and I'm just talking to someone, and somebody comes over from aisles like, Kyla Pratt, and I'd be like, what? Oh damn, was I loud? I'm sorry. If I try to be incognito, no, it's not happening. Because I just don't know.
The voice carries.
I don't know how to shut up. So I can have on a hat, glasses, ain't nobody looking at me.
And they still recognize you.
And then as soon as I start talking, or I'm like, oh, the bathroom's up. Oh, we got. It's a wrap.
If you could have switched characters on that show, who would you have been?
On that show, that's hard because everybody who had a role on that show was great. I would have to say Uncle Bobby, played by Cedric the Entertainer.
Cedric the Entertainer, yeah.
Just because he was like, ow, just because it seemed like it'd be fun just to go to work and do that, just to make noises into the microphone.
And you just be getting paid.
Right.
Getting paid. But I love that too because I was like, oh, I don't have to do hair and makeup. I can just go up there looking crazy. Ooh, this is fun.
And then
I love that you were thinking that at 14.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, but especially at 14, I didn't I was never the girly girl. It was me, and then I had my 2 brothers and a stepbrother before my little sister came. So I was just always around boys and playing basketball. And I was like, I don't need to wear no makeup. Right. I'm cool. I'll get a little bit here and there. And then I had one of my friends who's just gorgeous, and she just always wear makeup all the time. And I realized because people started taking pictures of us together, and I wouldn't wear makeup. I'm just fresh face. I was still cool, but it was still a big difference.
Right.
Look at her looking like a Maybelline model because she got all this stuff on and she's gorgeous anyway. And then I'm over here looking crazy. It's like, okay, Kyla, you're going to have to learn how to do something. So I figured out a little bit.
You figured it all out.
What was it like dating, with that many brothers and your overprotective mother?
Right.
What was dating?
That seems like a tough family. Like you might, you don't want to mess up. To come to your door, you don't want to mess up.
No, my family is a little crazy, but you gotta love us. Dating, I didn't really date much when I was a teenager. I had my first real boyfriend when I was like 18. And then my second boyfriend ever, I'm still with to this day.
Wow.
And, I had crushes and stuff, but we never dated. And then my brothers were younger. So I didn't really have, like, someone standing over me, like, who is this? I kind of did that to them.
To them, yeah.
Like, who is she? Does she have a job? Where you know her from?
Right.
Like, no.
Protective older sister.
I was that. So I tried not to do it too bad because they didn't do it too much to me. But they knew that I was the one that was like, I'm cool, like. I was always like the third wheel or the fifth wheel. I was the friend. I was the friend because I was just like, I'm cool. Like
forget it.
I'm cool because I'm like, y'all young boys. I know what y'all want. I ain't got time for all that. I'm in school. I got to do this. I got to do that. I'm cool. Just leave me alone.
And then
we can be friends.
You're like, we can just keep it here.
We can be friends, yes.
And then you were working on 101. What was it like for you to work on that set? 'Cause that's one of my favorite shows still to this day. When the reruns come on, I still watch that show.
Thank you. I loved working on 101. I loved it. Like we did it. We shot the pilot when I was 12. And then we didn't get picked up. And then the following year, we got picked up. So we got picked up when I was 14, and it went on until I was 19. So basically, all of my teenage years, I was on that set. And just the people and the crew, like, if I could rewind and do everything the exact same, I would do it. It was so much fun.
Really?
So much fun. And then that was back then where it was like we had audiences once a week, and like there's nothing. They don't do live audience now, but there's nothing like live audience. And getting able to run out there and do things in front of an audience, it kind of like gave you a little feel for theater. Yeah. Except for the whole being able to do it over and over again. So.
And then
I guess because a bunch of those shows that you were on were all live audience at the time.
Yeah.
So why did that stop? First of all. Why is that something that they don't want? Because didn't it feed a little more energy for you guys?
You could pick that up.
It did, and that's why when I got to Let's Stay Together, it was a little weird because they don't have live audience. It's not even set up for you to have an audience, and so you just have to kind of keep that energy up and imagine that there's someone there. But I think at a certain point, the networks started to get rid of the half hour comedies, and they start shooting single camera. Either comedies or dramedies, doing that type of thing. And with that, you only have one camera and you're like shooting in a house setting. So I guess they felt like the, our audience were getting a little more mature and didn't want that type of TV anymore.
Would you agree with that?
I'm not sure because I just look at it from my point of view and what I want to see and what I miss doing.
I would love to.
So I would love to be able to do that again, but they're doing things differently now.
And then now with you working, what was your best experience from working on 101? Like, what is your fondest memory from working on that show that you took with you?
Oh, my goodness. My fondest memory?
I'm sure there's so many.
There's so many. I would say the first thing that popped into my head was my Sweet 16. And they had a big old cake, and people were saying speeches and making me cry, and Method Man was there. Oh. That's like the first thing that popped into my head. Like that was was a lot of Method Man. It's your 16th birthday party.
That's big.
That's big. So I think that's the main thing that I can think of.
And then with that, like you mentioned animated television and doing kind of cartoons and those type of things. What would you do? Would you do it again? First of all, would you like to do another animated series?
Oh, I would love to do an animated series. I know that my 3-year-old recognizes my voice when she watches me on stuff. Really? So I would love to do I would love to get a guest star on like Doc McStuffins or Sophia the First or Jake and the Neverland Pirates. My baby would go crazy. Oh my gosh.
She said
I
only know one of those things.
No, but that's like Disney Junior right now. Yeah, that's all my 3-year-old. She comes home from school. If she's like, can I watch this? And I'm like, okay, you can only watch a little bit. And she's just in there singing and dancing. And I'm like, oh my God. I love it.
Would you support your kids if they wanted to get into the business?
A lot of people have been asking me that lately, and at first I'm like, no, I want to just be a doctor, go to school, do something else, do something, be better, do something else. But my 3-year-old is ridiculous. Like, her personality matches mine to the T.
Really?
And like, Easter just passed, and she performed in front of like 35 people performing a song from Frozen.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we cut it on, and she does the choreography, and she sings she knows all the
moves,
words. I'm
everything.
like, oh, no, don't do it.
It's in her
But
blood.
she can't help it. She can't help it.
And then with your success with your career, you've been on so many different shows. Another one of my favorites was your guest appearance on Veronica Mars.
Oh, thank you.
And it's like, that's a cult classic there. So that was different from some of the roles you had played before. What was the interest for you when you saw that script?
When I saw that script, first of all, I had a friend who was on the show, Percy Dax III, and we had known each other growing up. And then watching the show, I fell in love with Kirsten Bell.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, this would be fun. This is something I've never done before. And then it was also, I believe it was on UPN at the time.
It was on UPN.
So it was like, a little family show. Like, I'm on UPN in there. Oh. So it was just little stuff like that. It wasn't, when I was younger, like I said, I looked at this as like a hobby. And then as I got older, I was like, okay, this is a business. Kyla, think business-wise. This is not just about fun. But like back then, I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Let's do this.
And there's talks that they're going to do a movie. So
I think they just did a movie.
It just finished. Okay.
Yeah, I think they did. I think it just released maybe a couple weeks ago.
Oh,
really?
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah, it just released. I think it just released, and they used like money that fans had donated or something.
Yeah, some money with fans
to make the movie happen. Yeah.
And then do you ever keep in contact with Christon? Because I know she's on Parenthood now.
No, I haven't
Or
seen
actually,
her.
her boyfriend Dax is on Parenthood,
Yeah,
and she's
yeah.
been
I
doing
think they're
everything.
married now.
So,
I saw them on Access Hollywood Live, and they were talking about getting the paparazzi to stop taking pictures of the kids and stuff like that. So I haven't seen her or talked to her in years, but I had so much fun with her on the set. So that's my only memory. I'm good.
And then you mentioned paparazzi just now. Like, what's your take on now with everything with social media and just some people pay for their kids to be on the cover of People magazine. Some people want to hide their kids from the spotlight. What is your take on the way you would like to keep that distance?
It's kind of hard because I feel like being in the industry nowadays, you have to be on social media. Because my boyfriend tells me all the time, he's like, Kyla, out of sight, out of mind. If you're not posting or, and then me, I started off doing it as for fun with my friends. And then I realized, this is like a job. And I was like, oh my goodness. Or people asking me, posting pictures of my babies. And it's hard for me because the most pictures in my phone are of my kids. Like, I don't take pictures of myself all day. I do take pictures of my food a lot. But nobody wants to see your food all the time.
Oh, you're one of those.
Yeah, I'm one of those. Like, especially if I made it. Oh, it's going all over the internet. But it's difficult for me because I want to show off my babies. They're my pride and joy. But I don't want, and then I also don't want to have to cover my kids' heads like like Michael did back in the day. I don't want to feel like the other day I just posted a picture of my daughters with the Easter bunny, and the reason I felt like doing that is because a friend of the family came over and took pictures and they posted on their page. And I was like, you know what, let me just post a picture of this, because no one had seen my youngest. So I just like, let me just get it out the way, post a picture of her, and now it's it's out there. It's whatever. And if I feel like posting a picture, I will. A lot of the pictures I don't post because I feel like they're for me, and I want to keep them for me. Some things you just want to keep for yourself, but then some stuff is just so cute, you just can't help it. So I mean, each parent is different. I feel like whenever I'm comfortable, then I'll do a cover shoot or something like that. But as of right now, we're just chilling.
Now,
babies.
Do you bring the babies a lot on set as you were?
Oh yeah, when I work,
saying?
yes. Yes, definitely.
And then now, does everybody try and just kidnap your kids when they come in? I know that they're adorable, and I know that Erica has a child as well, Erica Hubbard on Let's Stay Together.
Yes.
And now, do you guys bring all the kids together and you have like a little playtime or anything?
Not really. There's usually so much going on, and it's usually such a crazy schedule, and it also depends what time of the year we're shooting. Because if we're in Atlanta and it's freezing, then my baby stays at home with whoever I bring with me, whether it's a relative, a cousin, an aunt, or something like that. I'll leave her at the house, and if I have to leave at 5 o'clock in the morning, sometimes it's 25 degrees outside. So she has to stay there. But if she comes to work, then it's trailer time, toys all all over the place, and so it's kind of hard to like get that, that schedule together with the other with Erica, because we're not sleeping. We're just like, oh, if you brought your baby today, let him play, like, or I'll see you guys on the weekend. But yeah, people do try to kid, like Ronrico he is so in love with all the babies, and he had his first, and now I'm like, about time, like, you were meant to be a daddy, so it's just fun.
And then your character on the show, Crystal. Yes. How did you come about to getting your character on the show? I heard there's like several different processes of auditions that each character has to do. And did you know the character when you actually went in for the audition? Did you know what the character was going to be about?
Actually, this is one of the first things that I didn't have to audition for. I know a bunch of the writers from Let's Stay Together because they wrote on One-on-One. And they reached out to, one of the writers actually reached out to me via Facebook. This show that we have going on, would you be interested in being on the show? Because they needed someone to replace Erica's character, because Erica was about to have a baby. And I'm like, that'd be cool. And it was my first job after having my oldest daughter. And I was like, oh, this would be fun. Get my feet wet, get back out there and do a little something. And they called, and I was like, yeah, well, I'm going to need this, I'm going to need that, and I'm going to need a crib. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I have a baby. And they're like, huh? Like, can we meet you? I'm like, yes, we can meet up. So I brought the baby, and yeah, that's just how it came about. Next thing you know, I was in Atlanta, and Lyric was with me, and I brought my brother and my sister along because it was in the summertime, so they were able to help me.
And then this is BET's first like rom-com. I mean, this is like their first scripted rom-com that's a huge success. When you came about and got on the show, was there any kind of pressure that you're like, oh God, this is kind of a big thing for BET, and how did that affect you and your thoughts with the character?
It wasn't really a lot of pressure for me, because it's like sitcoms was like what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I'm just like, and that's why it was so easy right after having the baby, because it was like, this is my thing. Like, let's do it.
This is easy.
I was excited to do it. Not really that it was easy. I was just excited to get back to doing something that I was used to doing before.
Yeah.
And it was cool. It was hard because Crystal, like I said, has a lot of energy.
Yeah.
So Kyla has to find energy no matter where. And then I know the episodes that they're playing now, I actually was pregnant at the time, and no one knew, and I was exhausted. And I was just like, okay, keep your energy up, Like, don't go to sleep. And it was so tiring, but I know that that's my character. My character has to be bubbly and all over the place and all around. Otherwise, you're just not getting the essence of Crystal, who's a little crazy.
And what's your favorite part about playing her?
My favorite part about playing Crystal is she's spontaneous. You never know what my character is going to be going through. I had no clue that I was going to end up being somebody's beard and being blonde.
Yeah.
And like I had no idea, and I never, had to do that. And I like that I was excited to get a script and see what is my character up to nowadays, because she's just a crazy college student that's just living her life and doesn't care who thinks any kind of way about it. So
and that's kind of total opposite of you. Out of all the characters that you've played, is there one character that you feel like you've learned the most from, just kind of reading about them and kind of having to become that person? Is it kind of, any of the characters kind of influenced your life more so than others?
Not really. I would have to say the first thing that comes to mind is Brianna from One-on-One. She was going through a lot of things that I dealt with at the same time because we were the same age. And a lot of things that they wrote about on the show, like I remember one episode they were talking about these girls making fun of her because she was a virgin.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? Like, they do that? Like, that don't bother me. Like, you can make fun of me all you want to. So it kind of made me think about certain topics and help me feel strongly about one way or another. And, it helped me through a lot of teenage things going on, because it made me feel like, okay, somebody else has to be going through this because they just wrote about it.
And how did that feel, like having girls come up to you be like, oh my God, like I was to get bullied the same way?
Yeah.
Like, how at such a young age, how did that kind of make you feel that you were the voice of a generation?
It made me a voice of a generation.
I mean, but honestly, when I think about it,
she was like, that's way too much pressure right now.
I was trying to think role model, but then actually, when it comes, honestly, when it comes down to it, you kind of do embody that.
I mean, well, thank you.
When you think of all the roles, and when I think of the people who have been in my life, entertainment-wise, you've been there consistently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I do relate to you because we are roughly around the same age. So,
Yeah.
what was that like for you? Did you notice that at the time? Was it people coming up to you being like, yo, I was going through the same exact thing at the same moment?
I did notice that because a lot of people did come up to me and say things like that. And it made me happy that I can help because I'm the oldest of 5.
Yeah.
So I look at my siblings like, I hope there's any way that I can help you in what you're about to go through. It's like my little sister now is 16 and I talk to her all the time about everything. And I'm like, I understand that you're not going to know until you go through it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to put it in your brain right now that this is what's going to happen and it's okay. But so it was amazing to be able to, feel that I was doing that for people who I didn't even know, or people just to be able to enjoy what I love to do. Like, that's just a blessing in itself, me being able to work and get paid for something that I love to do. And now I'm helping people at the same time,
And my next question is kind of a 2-part to it. The first part is, you have had a lot of different storylines for Crystal on the show. You dealt, as you mentioned, kind of with Download Brothers and a variety of other things. What was your favorite storyline thus far, and where would you like to see your storyline go on the show in the future?
Ooh. Let's think about this. My favorite storyline thus far, I love the Darkanian storyline. I'm going to try to take it back because I know that's fresh on everybody's mind. I love the first time Crystal was being a little playa. And I think it was Corey Hardick and Omarion. And they were both on the show. And for some reason, I had 2 little boyfriends. And it was the most that Crystal had to ever do, because before then, I was like popping in and out of every scene, and this time I was like in the whole episode.
Right.
And I think it was fun, like, doing that. Because, I never was that type of girl. I was just like, if I'm talking to somebody, I don't care what nobody else is talking about, what anybody else is talking about. And it was crazy because that was my first little, like, on-screen romantic stuff. Every time I have to do something romantic on screen, it's like the only weekend my boyfriend could come out and visit the set. I'm like,
of course.
Are you serious? Like, you couldn't come next week? And he's like, no, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I'm here, like, I can only be here for a couple days. And I'm like, great. Well, I have a boyfriend this week.
You like that storyline?
Great. But that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
And then the storyline that you would like to see in the future, what would that be if you could pick one?
Oh, I'm not sure. Crystal? Well, now she's dating Rashad on the show.
Yes.
Her little boo thing. I feel like Crystal should be done with relationships right now.
Just focus on her.
Focus on her. And I think her running around and being crazy and just, exploring and just keeping the same personality of when she was a baller's wife or a baller's fiance, and just have fun and just be wild and all over the place. That seems like what Crystal would do.
I think that might be what Crystal would do.
Yeah, because Kyla's like chilling. Kyla's like, I ain't got time for nothing. I just be with my babies. I'll live through her. She can go to all the parties and stuff, and I'll just be over there like with no sleep, chilling with the babies, pretty much.
Well, we talked about role models, voice of the generation,
voice of the generation,
and mentors. Obviously, your mother seems to be a mentor in your life. Is there anyone else that kind of in the entertainment world that has kind of taken you under their wing, or kind of always like, he always looked out for me. She always looked out for me. I
wouldn't say there's anyone specifically that took me under their wing and kept me under their wing. I feel like, when we work together, then I have people who've looked out for me. But that's not always their fault. I've kind of always been standoffish, like, I'll see you at work. Like, I want to go over here now. But not really as of right now. I have a few people who, I have one person who works behind the scenes who has really helped me understand a lot of what's going on behind the scenes. But not really anyone in particular. I feel like there's one person who I really look at as far as what I would love to do in the future, or a couple of people actually, and that would be Jada Pinkett Smith and Drew Barrymore.
And why those two?
And those two, because they maintain being in front of the camera and being actresses, but they learned how to be a producer and work with actors from that level and understanding them from that level. And, that's something that I would love to do. And both of them have their own production companies and they make things happen. And I want to do that too.
And what would be an ultimate role that you could play that you could either create for yourself or it could be someone gives you the role?
I feel like the ultimate role right now, I would love to do some more independence, just to get out there all that I can do as far as my craft. I feel like I've done the sitcom thing, and I love comedy. Love making people laugh, but I want to show that I can do the other side of things and make people cry or make people feel a certain way. So the ultimate role for me is just to be able to do a bunch of different roles to show that I can do it all.
And then with the roles that you've had currently that you're working on, and then there are a couple future roles that you have that are coming up, what is a couple projects that you can give us insight on that you'll be working on outside of Let's Stay Together?
Right now I'm just being mommy. Right now, that's all my focus is. And I actually just took my youngest to the doctor before I came here. And she's like, "Are you back to work yet?" And I'm like, "No, not yet. I'm doing a couple."
I love that she asked. Yeah.
Mom, sit down.
No, and it's funny.
We need to have a talk,
because
Mom.
my daughter's pediatrician was actually my pediatrician.
Oh, wow.
When I was like 15. So she just is always talking about how I'm so proud of you, and oh my goodness, and you're such a great mom. And so she always has these little talks with me, and she's just happy that I told her I wasn't back yet. There's a couple of things that might be coming up, but nothing to take me away from home. And she's like, "Yeah, because you never get these moments back. You never get these years back." And it's true. My 3-year-old, I have her in school a couple of days out of the week, but everybody's like, "Put her in full time. You need some rest." And I'm like, but then she's not going to be at home with me for a couple of days just to be like teaching me all the things that she knows. And I'm just like, I was reading a book to her, and I can't remember the name of it. I know it's Olivia and the Fairy Princesses or something like that. And it's a little pig, and she's talking about how all the girls want to be princesses. So I don't want to be a princess. It's not special if all the girls are being princesses. And she's like, and why do they have to be princesses with little tutus? Why can't they be an Egyptian princess or African or Indonesian? And then the last one is Chinese. And she was like, "Mom, that's China." And I was like, "What?" Oh my God, my baby's a genius. Like, how does she know these? Oh my God. Like, I was and this just happened last night. And I was like, wanted to cry. I'm just like, I didn't show you that yet. This is our first time reading this book. Like, what? So it's like those moments, like just knowing that she's just learning and seeing the world through her eyes, like right now, is just amazing. And I love that. I mean, and I'm okay with going back to work because fortunately I have that job where I can bring my babies with me.
Yeah. The luxury.
So, because Lyric was with me on set of Let's Stay Together, and I started shooting that when she was about 8 months. And she was on set. I'd go upstairs and do my thing and come back down to the trailer and play with my baby.
And now you also mentioned that your boyfriend comes on set sometimes when you have uncomfortable moments or uncomfortable scenes. Is there any plans for future marriage or any talks about that in your personal life with your boyfriend?
Oh yeah, there's talks and marriages in the future, just not at the moment.
Not at the moment.
Well, I always tell people, like, whenever we feel, I don't ever want to feel
no pressure.
Pressure from outsiders, like, you need to do this and you need to do that, and y'all got 2 kids, and like, look, when we feel like it,
I feel you on that.
And when we have time, we're very busy. He's a tattoo artist. He's in the music industry, working on his music, and what I do, and being mommy, like, we got a lot going on. So as long as we're on the same page, that's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
You said that you like to write.
Yes.
Is there anything that you're working on now? Are you consistently writing? Is there a certain genre that you like to write about?
I'm consistently writing, but I'm getting myself out of something that I started doing when I was a teenager.
What's that?
Is I could only write when I was mad.
Yeah.
I could only write when I was upset. And it wasn't even about me or what I was going through.
Yeah.
It was just anything like deep and crazy. That's the only time I could write is when I was upset. And right now, there's nothing really for me to be upset about.
Life is beautiful.
So I gotta figure it out. I gotta figure it out. Life is beautiful. So, and I don't want anything to make me sad. So, I'm slowly, I'm inching my way, towards making a masterpiece. But I'm a Virgo. I always like to say.
I knew you were. Oh
you
my
knew
God.
I was a Virgo.
I was sitting here the whole time, and I was really sitting here like I was just.
How could you tell?
Because I'm just body language, and you know what it really was? It was really when you said, I'll be on set sometimes, and I'll just look at someone, I'll be like, I want to talk to you, but like, I'm gonna be over here.
I'm gonna be over here.
And it's no shade. It's no
right.
shade.
It's nothing against
but
you. It's just how I'm feeling right now.
I knew you was a Virgo. That was so funny.
But I feel like I'm a perfectionist. I don't like to half-ass do anything. I want everything to be perfect. I have no problem knowing that I don't know everything. I love to learn. I still go to acting classes whenever I'm not working, and that's what I want to do as far as my writing and working behind the scenes.
What about a children's show or book? I could totally see
I can see
that.
that
I
next.
can definitely do that. Oh my gosh, I can definitely. You don't understand the happiness that it brings to
I
me.
do.
I can feel it. Yeah. No.
When
seriously,
like
it's a
I
great
put
thing.
on Barney's Great Adventure, Barney's first little movie, and when I was a teenager, I was like, man, why did I do that movie? But I actually shot it because my mom,
white VHS.
my
cassette.
mom, yes, because my mom was pregnant with my little sister, and I was like, well, I want my little sister to watch me on something, so I'm gonna do Barney. I'm going to do Barney so she can see me. And now I put in Barney, and my 3-year-old recognizes me from when I was 10.
Crazy.
And she's like, that's Mommy. Mommy, that's you. And I'm like, yes, it is.
That's gonna be a great feeling, though. Just that you can share that with her.
Oh, my goodness. Like, so I definitely do see myself venturing off into a lot of children's products. My babies are my everything.
And what piece of advice would you give someone who wants to follow in your footsteps and have a career and balanced family life?
My advice has always been, you can't get into this industry if it's about the money, because it's crazy. There's too much going on. The money's not going to keep you sane. It's not going to keep you here. You have to get into it because you love it and it's something that you love. And having a family is just like a double dose of crazy on top. And I fight with myself sometimes. Sometimes I don't want to leave.
Yeah.
I don't want to, go on an audition, or I'll have an audition coming up and both of the kids didn't. This happened 2 weeks ago. Both of the kids weren't feeling well. They were both up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I wasn't able to study my script because I had a headache the night before. I finally got up, fed the baby. The next thing you know, Lyric woke up, had to take her to school. And I'm just like, when am I going to learn my lines? And then I drove to the audition, and I'm just sitting in the car, like going over, and if you don't love this, if this is not something that you're in love with, you're not gonna last that long, or you're gonna have someone in this industry who's a little crazy in a bad way be able to take advantage of you.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you love this and you want to have a family, it can be done.
It can be done.
You don't have to not have kids in order to have a career. And I believe that I'm Superwoman and I can do whatever the hell I want to do.
I like that. If you could use one word to define your career, what would it be?
Oh, to define my career? I don't know. Hopefully lasting. I don't know. Hopefully lasting. I love to work. I'm not I've had meetings recently, and I've let people know, like, look, I'm not trying to be the girl dancing on the tables, or I don't need that attention.
Right.
I just want to work. Like, just help me, get jobs here and there, and just, I love what I do. I just want to work.
Well, thank you.
I like
We
to
love
learn.
what you do too,
Thank
and you do it
you.
well, and I think that shows because you've had such a long career.
Thank you.
Where
And
can-
hopefully it's longer.
And longer.
longer.
We want to continue to see you for many, many years.
Thank you.
Where can fans find you if they'd like to look at Instagram, Facebook, all that fun stuff? Where
Fans
they
can find me on Instagram and on Twitter as @Kyla Pratt, and that's KYLA PRATT.
See, that's a mom because she spelled it out for you. That's
No,
a
I
mom.
had to, because people call me Kayla, they call me Keela, I'm Kyra.
That's true.
I'm like, it's
Keela,
right
Kyla,
there,
Kayla.
and it's 4 letters. So KYLA PRATT.
And Jesse, where can your fans find you?
At DJ Jesse J.
And you can find me at Derrial Christon on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Be sure to check out Kyla as Crystal Whitmore on Let's Stay Together on BET on Tuesday nights.
Hey now.
Keep watching it, keep it going, keep it #1, and we will see you next time on Portraits.
From producers Maria Menounos, Derrial Christon, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood
Hollywood
redefined.
redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.